asking questions and talking about all things to do with teaching guitar and the business of teaching guitar. So I'll start tonight with Trevor. Trevor, have you got a question or topic that you want to talk about specifically?
I think, well, probably we mentioned it just briefly before going on air about the Facebook marketing and the remarketing,
Yep.
because obviously I've just hosted a masterclass with Guthrie Govan, which was basically marketed through Facebook. So that was quite a useful exercise. So it might be good to just review that and see what, how that can be used in the future.
Excellent. Yeah, I think so. And we were just having a little bit of a chat just before we started, and it was a success. This is Trevor's second masterclass, and the first one he ran. We didn't do any Facebook marketing. We didn't do any really other than Trevor doing sort of his own local marketing. In this case, and of course Guthrie Govan is a well-known figure amongst guitar players, so he's going to definitely draw a better crowd. But you also have to get to where they are, and people have to hear them. And so what I did, Trevor asked me to do some marketing for it, and so what I did is we put up not much, just a small amount of money, and did some marketing on Facebook, and we sold some tickets initially, and it was going well. But then what I did was we did a second round leading up really in the last couple of weeks, or even probably the last week and a half, up before the actual gig, and we did like a Facebook remarketing program, or campaign, I should say. And the difference with the remarketing, just so I can quickly explain, is that when you do your first round of marketing, you're actually going out to people who have never heard of you before, never seen an ad of you before, and they're just people who, in this case, who've put on their list of interests Guthrie Govan. So I specifically went for people who had an interest in Guthrie Govan. So anyone who's got that in, perhaps some of you guys have got that on your Facebook. It's not necessarily, as far as I understand, anyway, because Facebook don't give us a lot of information in this respect, but it's not necessarily people who put Guthrie Govan on their thing. It could have been someone who just liked a Guthrie Govan page at some point. It could be someone who even went to Guthrie Govan's page and spent some time on it. So there's different ways that Facebook work, but I plugged that in as the interest. I also put Paul Gilbert on there, by the way, so that because I know that there's a connection between those two guys, and people who like Paul Gilbert tend to like Guthrie Govan, and vice versa. Not always, but there is a connection there. So, and I could have probably put other players down there if we wanted to sort of go a little bit deeper to try and find people there, and we could have done some other things as well. But I really just went for those two players. Now, what happens on the remarketing is that it takes people who have actually clicked on the ad before. So it doesn't go to people who haven't responded to the ad, only people who have clicked on the ad. And then it puts a new ad in front of those people. You can put the same ad if you want, but I did a fresh ad and put that fresh ad in front of those same people. And what it does is those people have already showed an interest in it, but they didn't buy a ticket. It doesn't go to people necessarily who have bought a ticket. If you can actually put in in this case it did because I didn't have that information, but you can actually put in a list of email addresses of people who have purchased and move them onto a different list. So you can tell Facebook not to show the ad in front of people who have already purchased that ticket, and only in front of people who haven't. But people who had purchased probably wouldn't click it again because they've already got their ticket, they're happy. So what the power of remarketing, or the power of this whole Facebook campaign, is first we're able to target the right people who already had an interest in Guthrie Govan, and then we're able to remarket to those same people who'd clicked on the ad but hadn't actually bought. And as you get down to that, those clicks start to get very cheap, because Facebook will make your ads cheap if the more relevant they are. That's what they're after. They want your ads and our ads to be going to people that are actually interested in our ads. So they will charge us less for a better quality ad and experience, because what it means is for anyone on Facebook, it's just a better all-round quality experience. So, and that's what we're doing more and more of. This is what I was talking about, I'm not sure with you guys, but in another hangout, where we're now moving towards very sophisticated Facebook marketing, and that means that by and I'll just explain it. I have explained it in other Hangouts, but I'll just do it very briefly. By collecting the data of people who are actually interested in what we do, if you've got, for instance, if you've got an email list of students that you've got now, or people who have inquired, or past students, that email list now is very valuable data. So I can take that data, if you were to send it to me, if I was doing a Done For You campaign for you guys, if you send me a list, and you need 100, or you actually need about 200 people for the list to really work. Any less than 200 is not going to work. So this is their recommendation from Facebook. So if you've got a list of 200 people who have either, I'm talking email addresses, who have either inquired, you can actually use phone numbers too, by the way, if you don't have an email address, and this is, again, one of the powerful things with Facebook that you haven't been able to do on Google AdWords. So if you've just got their phone number, which you can collect through people inquiring on the phone but not giving you an email address, if that phone number is registered on their Facebook page, then it will find that as well. So if we can get a list of 200 from your, then what I can do is I can put that in as a campaign, and then we can, first stage is we can market to those people, whatever. We can put up different ads in front of those people. It could be another kind of workshop that you're doing, a masterclass. So where you have trouble sometimes getting to people with emails, you can run on a campaign and get those in front of those people who already know you, who may be interested in that masterclass because of what level they are, etc. So, but the other thing which is very powerful is building a lookalike list. So you can actually take those people, and Facebook will go and find people who are very similar to those people, and you can actually get the degree of how similar they are. So if it's kind of like 99%, I think something like that, I think it goes from 99% down to 1%. But if it's 99%, it means they're very, very similar. It's people who like the same artists, who live in the same area, who do a lot of the same things. Basically, they're looking for a real close match. As you move it across, then they're similar, but they're less similar. So you get to the point where they, at 1%, maybe they just happen to like the same singer on a web page or on a Facebook. That's it. They got one like in common, something of that description, or they got one friend in common who's already been interested in what you're doing. So what I was going to say about the lookalike is that we can now gather the data from all the G4 members, pull all that data. So if you were to send me a list, let's say of 100, let's say I collected 50 members all sent me a list of 100 email addresses, and you've got to remember I've already got quite a lot of email addresses, and I'm talking something around the figure of 10,000 email addresses. So with those 10,000 email addresses that I've already got, these are people who have signed up to our form before. A lot of them have come from your locations through either your own advertising or whatever. But I combine that with any list that you send me, and then we end up with this, could possibly be 15, 20,000. But the more people that you've got, the better the data is, the better Facebook is able to draw across that information things that are similar. And so what they might find is across our data that our kind of ideal client or person who's on that data that sort of matches a lot of the criteria, they then take that and build a profile and then go looking for people like that. And what we can do is then use that profile, or Facebook uses that profile, and just target your area. So for instance, where you are, Trevor, in Horsham, by having all that data and building a really good profile. So if you're a small business and you don't have a big list, you can't build a great profile. Your profile will be weak. But the more people you have, the better, the stronger the profile that you build. And then what happens is that we just target Horsham. So we don't for your advertising, and we use that profile to build a lookalike campaign to target Horsham, to find people in Horsham who fit the profile, and then people who are more likely to enroll, more likely to hang around. So especially if you take it from students who have enrolled and students who have stuck around, is that the better that we get. See, this is the different levels. If we take everybody who's filled in our form or inquired, they're not necessarily the best candidates for our lookalike list. But if we take the people who are our best students, who are the ones that we want more of, and we use those in our profile building, then we're going to come up with our ads are going to appear in front of the right people who are likely to click on those ads, who are likely to enroll, which makes Facebook happy, that gets them charging us less. And from my understanding, you can get 3, 4, sometimes more bang for your dollar or your pound in the UK. So that's the power of this campaigning and marketing, and very few people are doing it. And small individual guitar schools can't do it. They just don't have enough numbers to be able to do a lookalike campaign, whereas we have the data and we can really drill down on it. So does that make sense, Trevor? Hello? No.
Hello?
Is anybody? Oh, you there,
Hello?
Trevor? Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
sorry,
hear
I
me?
was muted. Yeah, no, I forgot to unmute myself. Yes, it does make sense. Couple of quick questions from that. So, in terms of the masterclasses, for instance, so basically, do you have presumably now a database of people from the Guthrie Govan campaign who were responding to that, so that if we do the same thing next year, presumably it's going to be a lot cheaper and more effective to target those people and then maybe do a lookalike list based on those people? Is that, have I followed
Yes.
that?
Yeah. We've now got an audience, what's called a custom audience, built around all those people that clicked on the ad are now in a custom audience. So.
And from the point of view of selling guitar lessons to people, what you basically need from myself and presumably the other teachers is lists of email addresses of people who've actually signed up for lessons through the Facebook ads. Is that
correct?
Right? Okay.
That's it. If you've got a list of email addresses, phone numbers as well. If you've got a list of those, email addresses are always better, because when people sign up to Facebook, not all people put their phone numbers in there, but people will put their email address. They have to. It's a condition. And this is again another thing with Facebook, is that unlike a lot of on your forms and a lot of other places, they can put dodgy email addresses in there. On Facebook, they can't. They can't have a Facebook account with a dodgy email address. It just won't work. So yeah, because they've got to obviously confirm their email address when they fill in their Facebook. So it's pretty well, I would say 99.99%, if not 100%, accurate. So if you've got a list of email addresses, then I can put them in there. And what I'm really doing is putting any email addresses that you guys send me a list, putting them all into this one place, and then building a lookalike, because it'll build the profile across the network, and it'll be even better if you could create sort of like with the list, give me an idea of who the people are. In other words, are they current students, are they past students, or are they inquiries? So if I know those three categories, then I can build different lists and different lookalikes, because obviously your current students are generally going to build you the best list because they're current. That's what we're looking for, those kind of people. And if you've got, let's just say everyone had, 50 students as an average across the network, times 50, there we've got 2,500 people on a list of current students. And we could even put past students in there, and then we can build a profile. So these are people who have spent money. Current and past students are people who have spent money. Inquiry are people who haven't spent money. So I kind of would separate them. So even if you could give me current and past, I think that's all we really need to do at this point. And then we could build a list profile, like a lookalike campaign. So what happens is those 2,500, even though they're not all yours, just some of them are yours. What I can do with that the lookalike is then I just target your area. So we just go for Horsham. So it's got the profile, but only in your area.
Right. And with the masterclass tickets, you will have all the addresses, even the ones who bought tickets through my link. Will you still have those addresses, or would you need me?
Yeah, with Facebook, you could send me the email addresses, but I only really would need the email addresses of people who haven't come through Facebook. They're all the ones who've come through Facebook. They're already in my audience. We're talking about people who've clicked the ad. Anyone who's clicked the ad has come through. You could build a separate list of people who actually bought tickets, and run a different campaign to those people. So you can still send me that list. If you've got an email list of all the people who actually came, like who bought it off you, you can send that to me, and then I can build a separate list and put them down as people who purchased a ticket, and that'll help as well. So, and then we can really target those people. And you can also we can build on it next time and sort of say, well, okay, what can we add to it next time? You can really take this to great lengths, and it's all very new, and that's what I like about it, is that even a lot of the big guys don't know about it. They're not doing it yet. It's all too new and fresh for them to really get a handle on it. Like Instagram ads, they only just started a week or so ago for the first time, and I've been experimenting with those, and they're, for Instagram, they're cheap. We're getting lots of people viewing our ads at a lot lower price. So.
Great.
Cool. Did David or Ben, did you have anything on that topic that you wanted to add to before we change topics?
Yeah, I've got a list, David. I'm not sure what the numbers are, but I do separate the lists where I have inquiry list, current student list, and past student list. So is that something you would want me to forward on to you just for future maybe marketing?
Yeah. Yeah, if you can send me that list. I mean, even if you guys made a kind of a live list, or even if I think, because obviously we can't be updating it every week because it's too much work. But maybe if just I really think, because it's for building a lookalike campaign. That's what we're trying to do here. But if you send it twice a year, if you send me what you've got now, and then in 6 months send me whatever you've added since that date. So anyone who's inquired or enrolled, so if we did it twice a year, because basically the power of it is, if I'm doing a done for you campaign for you guys, which I'm not going to try and sell you on it, and I don't do that. You guys can do whatever you want with your marketing, but I think what we're going to see is the more that we sort of work together and bring things together, the better the result we're going to get. Because we're going to get more information and more data, and the game that exists today is data. The more data you've got, the more leverage you have, the more knowledge, the more power. Any way that you want to look at it, data is what is king. And I can use the example here if you look at the internet, the most powerful and biggest companies are the ones with the most data. You Google, they have massive amounts of data. Facebook, those two companies alone have more data than probably 80% of the internet, the rest of the companies, and then Amazon, of course, and even get a bit further down, you're looking at companies like eBay, Twitter. What these guys have is data. They have information on who we are. They know our habits. They know what we do. And if you look at sort of Amazon, there are people on there who they know what you're shopping for. Imagine going through a shopping center and having a camera following you everywhere, recording every little thing that you look at. Every time you do something. That's Amazon. Anyone who shops on Amazon, that's what's going on.
Tell you a little story, David. That was my son's birthday. Like a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and was getting him a balance bike for his birthday, and my ex-partner sent me the link through my phone by text, and I've constantly had the advert on Facebook for a balance bike, the exact same one for like weeks.
It just keeps coming up, right?
But yeah.
It's stalking you. It's almost a nightmare. It's like,
it is.
Leave me alone. It's interesting because people are wising up now to what's actually going on with the marketing, but at the same time, a lot of people don't mind it because sometimes they want to be reminded of that. It's almost like people are going to get lazy now, where they're going, I'll see that ad again tomorrow, so I'm not going to worry. It'll pop up again, and that's what I see. That is the next stage where people will actually want you to come knocking a few times before they click on the ad, just because it's not convenient for them right at that time. And you know, it's already possible, but you can switch certain ads off, and you know, you can even put in ad blockers so you don't see any of the ads, which is what I have. I have different browsers, and on one browser I have the ad blocking, so I don't see any of the ads. And I like that when I'm using YouTube. I don't want ads popping up and have to sit through a 30-second ad to watch a 30-second film clip. So yeah, cool. And that's what we got to. This is where it's at, and I'm saying this not just from the point of view of G4. This is where business is going. This is the future, or the present really, and there are going to be a lot more opportunities as we grow, because it's not just about teaching guitar, and I know this is sometimes hard to sort of get a handle on, but as you grow and develop in business, then you can see what I'm doing. I'm not doing any guitar teaching, right? I don't teach guitar anymore except to my daughter. I'm running a business, and I'm really running an online marketing business, so that's really what I do. And so that's an opportunity that's come up through my teaching guitar. I started off teaching guitar, did that for years. Learn about how to get students through marketing, obviously through the marketing channels I had. Then the internet arrived, AdWords came along, and so I started looking at that, and then Facebook ads, and so it just grows and grows, and then you find yourself somewhat of an expert because you've been doing it for your own business. And that's what you guys want to think about as well, is that you're not going to necessarily be teaching guitar forever. You can if you want, if that's what you really want to do. This is not a sort of you have to do anything else, but a lot of the time you will grow. You'll just realize that, okay, now it's time to sort of move on, and that's why these other skills and just us as a group, I see us as a group sticking together and really looking for other opportunities as we grow. Just what Trevor's done with the Guthrie Masterclass. Trevor and Guthrie are good mates now. They're hanging out on the weekends and doing whatever they do, drinking Guinnesses or something. He said, but it's the idea is that we are growing, and we're a network, and the more that we sort of learn and collaborate together, the better we all do. It really is a case of that, and I've always been that kind of way. I'm a team player. I like to work together as a team. So. Cool. Ben, did you have anything to add to that? Are you got any?
No, not really. I haven't really dabbled at all in the online stuff. You've just been doing my done for you Facebook adverts, so.
Yep. Okay, cool. Excellent. So again, I can do the same with your. If you send me a list at any time, I can put that in there. But I'm going to build lookalikes for everyone anyway. It'll be based around whatever data I've got. Those of you who contribute, then I've got more data. But if you don't, that's okay. We'll still build a pretty good lookalike. Okay.
I'm not.
So,
can I just ask, what emails are you specifically asking for? I know you've got the good ones for the lookalikes, and all the rest, or just specifically the best students, current students, or very good students who are no longer with you, or?
I think if you just split it into two, so you've got students who are current and past as one, and then students who are like inquiries. So in other words, you they haven't enrolled. So people who have spent money and people who haven't. That's really, I think, all we need to do for now. And then later, I'm thinking, maybe 6 months, a year down the track, I can get all you guys to send me a list of your best students who you would consider to be the kind of student you'd like to have. Then we can compile a list there and compile another lookalike based just on those students.
Yeah, cool.
All right. As we sort of move to FileMaker as well, what's going to happen there is that you will have data, which I already have, to get accurate value or near accurate value, a return like a ROI on each and every student, including projected value. So the idea is that you can look at, and then you can sort that list, and you can see who are your most valuable students, the top, your top 10%, the most valuable students. And then we could just take those email addresses and put them together and do a lookalike list. So if you wanted to do it on that basis, I tend to more prefer choosing students that you like, but if you wanted to do it purely on value, return on investment, that's a way to do it. Okay. So, David, what would you like to talk about today? I know you were sort of mentioning something about the E-Myth and sensory branding, which is great. I remember being into that at one point. So if you've got anything you want to sort of talk about there, that'd be really good.
Yeah, I did have another question, but I'm happy to talk about that.
Yeah, we can do both. So yeah, we'll have time. So.
Well, I'll just start with a question so I don't forget, because I've got a couple of students. One is particularly in the third week into the 5-week intro, and he's only a young kid. He's 7, so his mum brings him, but they're not bringing the file to every lesson. In one lesson, they actually turned up without the file and without the guitar, and then I didn't do the lesson for some reason. I just, you know, maybe I should, but so anyway, I rearranged the lesson, and they came back, and they didn't bring the file, but they just brought the guitar. So I had a little chat just saying, you know, the importance of bringing the file and the guitar each week for the consistency, but she doesn't seem to be like taking it on board. So I don't know what to do, to be honest. Okay. Well, I'm coming across as you know, as arrogant, I guess, or something like that, you know.
Yeah. What does she say? Well, what do you say first? Maybe if we just run through it quickly, just to see how you present what you say to her when she doesn't turn up with the folder. So just pretend I'm her. What do you say to me?
So the first week, she said she was ill for a week and she was on the couch for 5 days. Which is fair enough. That's and you know, I can't really argue with that. So you know, but then the second week she just turned up. There's no guitar, there's no folder, and then as soon as she walked in, she said, "Oh, I've left it at home." So then I said to her, well, I don't think, you know, there's much point doing the lesson today, because, you know, I need to see the folder for the practice, and obviously, you know, he needs his guitar. So I said, can we which was a bit silly, but I said, can we arrange this lesson to a few days down the line, and just make sure that you bring the guitar in the folder. So she said, yeah, that was cool. Then she turned up on the Saturday, and the kid just had his guitar. So what's running through my mind that they've not filled the practice log in, and she's just thought, oh, David's going to get on my case, so I've left the folder at home, kind of things. Yeah. But getting back to the point, what I said, you know, I would just say, you know, Tim, he's really excited his lessons. Sorry, I shouldn't use names. The kid comes running into the lessons. You know, he's really excited about learning guitar. He's got a great attention span. So I just said, so I really want to capitalize on that as a teacher, because he's doing really well. So, you know, bringing the folder to each lesson, you know, building this consistency, you know, within him is really going to help you. And I think I said to her, you know, I'm really glad, you know, that you're sitting with him whilst he practices and stuff like that. And that was a general gist of what I said.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. You know, the folder itself, of course, we want them to bring it, and we want that to sort of get them to get into that routine. And yeah, to me, it's also about whether or not they're opening it at home. You know, is this something they've just said, okay, cool, we can throw this away now. We've got the guitar. That's all that matters. So that's my main concern. I think, you know, I didn't in the intro. What lesson are we up to now with her?
It's lesson 3.
Lesson 3. Okay, so I wouldn't be too concerned. But sorry, she's had 3 lessons already. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I wouldn't be too concerned, because we're only talking about 2 lessons. Obviously, the first week you gave her the folder, and the second week didn't turn up, and the third week didn't turn up. So, you know, and I had that. I remember that happening sometimes. But what I would do is kind of make a big deal about it and go, oh no folder. Now, first week it's like, oh, you know, make sure you bring it. You need to bring it every week. Blah blah blah. You know, and I know that you would have done the same thing. And then the second week they don't turn up with it. It's oh no, not again. All right, look, I need some practice times. We've got to work out what you did. So I'll tell you what to do. When you get home, get your camera out and take a snapshot of it for me and email it to me. Can you do that for me? please, yeah, great. That way I've at least got a copy of your practice log. But please bring it next week. And then if you don't get that picture, then now you've got a reason to ring them or email them. So, I used to, in most things in business, play the persistence game, and or the pestering game, where I just kept pestering them until they, followed a policy or did what. I was always friendly. I always did it nicely. I never sort of said, "Damn you." It was always, "Oh, hi, it's David here. Yeah, I didn't get that email with the picture of the practice log. Have you been able to do it? Because I really want to get a copy of it. I want to make sure that I've got it on file." And they said, "Oh, no, we got busy when we got home. We didn't." "Oh, okay. Any chance you could do it right now? Could you just take a quick snapshot and pop it through on my email? Look, I'll email you right now, so you got my return email, and then you can just add it to that. Is that okay? Can we do that now?" And they might give you some excuse again, and you go, "All right, well, if you can do it tonight, a bit later, that's fine, and I'll check later tonight or in the morning." And then if it's not there in the morning, just follow up again. And see, even though we feel that's a lot of work and we're busy, we think we don't want to do that. What you're doing is you're not compromising your standards, and it really shows students how serious you are about your teaching, and that it's important to you to have this folder and this practice log, because let's be honest, it doesn't happen that much. Most students turn up with their folders. Most students will actually follow the policies, but occasionally you'll get one like that. And I'd rather know early. I'd rather them say to me, "Stuff you, you're really annoying. Don't call me again. We're not coming to lessons anymore," and hang up on me. I'd rather that than me being sort of slack and being frustrated and annoyed, because that's what happens, is that when our standards aren't met, we become annoyed. We become frustrated with people because we have our standards here and we're asking politely and they're not meeting our standards. So the persistence is the game I would play. Look, see what happens in the next lesson if they turn up with the folder. If they turn up with a folder, you can kind of, take a sigh of relief. If they don't turn up with it, then go play the persistence game and just sort of say, "Look, when you get home, I need to have those practice numbers. I've got to get an idea of whether it's practice," because that's what this is about. The main game that we're playing here is to getting your son to practice. So if you could do that for me, that would be great. But also, sometimes I want to put a few notes in there, or I just want to make sure that you understand how the folder works as well, and just if you could bring it, that would be perfect. So yeah, that's all I would do at this point.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so let's I'll come back to you in a sec for the branding, the sensory branding. It's a nice word, sensory branding. So yeah, Ben, what would you like to talk about today?
I don't know. I think I'll let David run with it, because my main problem at the moment is inquiries, and I don't know if there's anything I can do differently so far. It's just I keep getting a lot of really odd ones or normal ones, but then they don't respond. So I've got at least 4 in the past 2 weeks that are just emails with one question, and I've said, "Thanks very much for inquiry. It's easiest to discuss it on the phone, so if you'd let me know a contact number, I'll ring you at an appropriate time. Thanks."
Okay, cool.
So I'll send the next email saying exactly the same thing, but with, "In the meantime, let me answer your questions, response. And then that's it. And then if nothing, I'll just send him another email a few days later saying, "I just wanted to check whether you're still interested."
Yep, okay, cool.
Nothing, which is quite odd.
Okay, so you're getting quite a lot of these recently, is what you're saying? Yeah.
And some really odd ones as well. I posted recently about the people who just kept missing their appointments.
Yep.
That I've had someone, they inquired about a year ago, and then they sent me an email a few days ago, and all it said was, "Do you have a slot Wednesday, 1:30 p.m?" Not even a signature at the end of the email. I responded and said, "Hey Julian, it's great to hear from you, blah, 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 blah. Details. No, can't do that time." And that's it. Just 2 sentences after a year of silence. It was really weird. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's hard to know. Yeah. I mean, it's, and a lot of the time, I found with inquiries, guessing them is difficult. Nearly most of the time when people would respond, eventually you get onto them. In cases where you have these sort of odd responses, or could even be phone messages, and then you eventually get onto them. It's not what you think. Maybe you thought that they were just very disorganized, but then you find out, hey, they just found out they're pregnant or something, so they've had to delay. Not saying, that's just one example, and I did have that example once. But there's sometimes when you delve a little bit deeper, you find, or when you hear back from them, you find that there was more to the story. People have busy lives. They have a rush of, I want to play guitar, and they jump on that for about 30 seconds, and then it's gone the next day, or even sometimes the next hour. They've forgotten about that, and they get this call about someone about guitar, and it's like, huh, what? Because we do things that have changed a lot. I know that in the last few decades, we've gone from this situation where most things took time. If you were to inquire about anything, in days gone by, everything took time. Before you didn't, there wasn't before the internet, there wasn't this instant way of doing business. So everybody, the first thing you do is you go and find the phone number, or whether it's in a phone book or see a newspaper ad or whatever. You would ring up, you have to wait on the phone, you would go through a process, and then if you wanted something, a lot of the time you had to order it. If it was music lessons, very few teachers would book you in on the day, and they always, in a lot of cases, what it used to be is you booked at the beginning of the term. So, in Australia we had four school terms, and the only time you could start was at the beginning of the school term. You couldn't start in the middle of the year. But as you know, that's all changed now, and now we've got this instant, people just want to click a button and be ready to go. The guitar delivered at the front 30 seconds later with their first lesson this afternoon in an hour. So there's a lot of that going on. Just keep that in mind, that there's this instant kind of gratification world that we live in today. What's the solution to that? This is where Facebook might be able to help, where you're not getting through to these people. The remarketing may get through to these people, and if we had a list of those people, we could put them into the remarketing campaign. And are you getting their phone numbers and email addresses, either or?
Either or, yeah.
Okay, all right. So if you've got that information, then you could start compiling a list of those and run a specific campaign for those people to see if you can get them to respond in some way. It could be something like running an open day, like Paul did, and run a campaign to target those people. It could be a tripwire, like Jez is currently running. He's testing the tripwire.
Tripwire again?
Yeah, a tripwire is a very low cost sample, if you like.
I was getting a small payment, and that means that I remember.
Yeah, yeah. So you could do like a £1 lesson, even, just for those people. Just target those people on Facebook with a £1.
I don't think I can do an open day while I'm not at a location. I don't think my parents would be very happy with that.
Yeah. You need to wait until you at that point. So yeah, maybe you could do a tripwire and just target. And that's what we want to do, is we want to have these different layers of marketing depending on who we're trying to go for, and yeah, target the right people with the right ads. Cool. So something to keep in mind though, and this through my marketing years of being in doing marketing, is that every phone number and every email address is valuable. Don't ever think that it's a waste. And as has been proven with lookalike Facebook campaigns, it's in remarketing, it's even more valuable now. So even if that particular person never enrolls, that person is giving you data that you can use to find more people. So yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool. All right, so David, let's go back to you, and yeah, talk about the sensory branding sensory, whichever way, but censoring branding, I think it is. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. It's it's just something that I've just done a little bit of research on. It's new, so I've not really fully thought it through. And basically I was just, obviously it's kind of how your business smells, and vibe, and all the sensory things, and creating. I think on the video one of the great things that it explained was how like, say, rain can create a memory of childhood, and there's all these different kind of things, sensories that. So yeah, so I've kind of been thinking about it a little bit, and I just wanted to get other people's perspective to what they they experience, or their thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. It's and it's actually quite powerful. Things like vanilla, the smell of vanilla takes people back to their childhood as well. And it's it actually vanilla is a very powerful scent, especially for women. Apparently they relate to it, to babies and all that. So but there are a lot of other cues, or I mean there are probably an infinite number of cues that you could have within your business, and that's another way of looking at it, as a cue. So whether it be something that you smell, something you hear, something you see, touch, but they set off some kind of response to you. And this is something that if you go to Japan, I've never seen it done better than in Japan. They're very, very good at it, and it's interesting because a lot of what works on Japanese people doesn't work on foreigners. So we go there and it doesn't really work on us, but it works on Japanese people, and everything from the colors they use to the uniforms they wear, as you say, the smells to the sounds around you. Things such they have these sort of like Zen settings where they have the water trickling down in the background, and you're just kind of in a sort of an environment, and it's very relaxing. And then you realise it's because there's this sort of bamboo water thing going on behind you that you weren't aware of. So the question is, how do we do this in what we do? What are we trying to do? What senses and in the branding that and the video that you put up there, and obviously where most of that works powerfully is when they're at your studio, but it also works outside of your studio as well. So with your video ads, the sounds are going on that. One of the things I'm noticing with the ads that they do, or the soundtracks they do for a lot of the ads where they're selling new applications. Have you noticed that they use? It's usually a major chord, very simple arpeggio, din, 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 sort of very, very simple, and it gives you the feeling that this is easy. This is a very easy program to use. And then you buy the program and it's really complicated. But yeah, they're very good at creating that. And if you go to something like Audio Jungle. I don't know if are you aware of that site?
No.
Okay, so yeah, Audio Jungle. It's a place where rock composers, music composers. It's a bit like where the photo sites like Deposit Photos or iStock Photos. Well, it's just another version of that, but audio tracks. So people buy audio tracks there. So you can, as a musician, you can record an audio track and then put it there, and someone could buy it off you for $1 or £1, £5, whatever. And so you can sell it with a license where they've got exclusive rights to it. I know they can use it on their commercials, and not that Apple go there, but those sort of soundtracks you hear behind an Apple ad or a video, they get it. They come from those kind of places. So when you're creating your ads, like videos and this is what we're getting to now with G4. And I don't know if you've seen the latest video that I put up there on G4, but I just recorded myself, but I did it based on one of those simple tracks that I heard on Audio Jungle. I just had to listen to a few and thought, okay, this sounds cool. It's simple, makes it sound like it's easy. And they're called inspirational. So I just took one of the inspirational tracks and did a kind of a version of it myself, recorded it. And that's what we can do. Obviously, we're musicians, so we don't have to buy those tracks if we don't want to. We can just do it. I'll probably buy them later because it's just easier. I don't need to sort of spend a lot of time putting it together. But it didn't take long. It only took probably half an hour to put the track together. But that's the idea of the sensory, and you could have something playing in your studio, I guess. This is, I guess, going to be a brainstorming experience. It's like, what do we put in our studios that's going to make it more appealing to students? Things like, I consider in your waiting area having a lounge and a comfortable area there, and maybe even the smell of fresh brewed coffee or something going on there would make it more comfortable for parents, especially. And if they can sit there and read a magazine or play, be on the iPad or something like that, you're going to create a better experience for them to be waiting there, so they don't mind waiting so much. But if you've got a waiting room that's uncomfortable, that's you're in a hard chair and it's kind of awkward and it just doesn't feel good, then that gives them a reason not to want to come and wait in your waiting area. And I always had nice waiting areas, and yeah, the parents would, I could see they'd get really comfortable. They'd sit on the lounge, and I always had lounges, and they found it really comfortable. So yeah, so maybe if we just get some ideas. Dave, have you got any ideas that you have thought about?
I have, like, if I just turn my computer, you can see like the reception area there. If I just pull the screen down a little bit, can you see how there's like a TV?
Yep.
So one of my first things was that I was gonna like put maybe 3 TVs round and link them all together, and maybe do some kind of video loop.
Yep.
So when people are waiting here, it's there's something going on. If it's kind of stealth marketing, or if it's some kind of showcase that we've done with like student pictures going through, so they're getting that visual aspect with the music as well.
Yep.
That was one idea that I had.
Cool. Yep. And you want to think from a point of view of what are parents or what are the people who are going to be spending the most time in the waiting room? Often it's not the students. Often the people who spend most of the time in the waiting room are parents. And so what do they want? What's going to keep them happy and comfortable? And I think there is a temptation to want to market to them, to sort of push messages to them. But I think that sometimes that could backfire to where it's annoying to them that they're constantly getting these video messages. I'm just putting out there. I'm not saying what you're putting out there is wrong, but that maybe what they're more interested in is watching some kind of show or video or a concert of a popular act at the moment, or I'm not sure. I really haven't done much research on it in having a video camera there, or having a video screen or a TV screen there. But I would think about, from their point of view, what are they going to enjoy if that's going on, or do they want it at all? Would they rather just have an iPad and not have that sort of blank? The gym that I go to, I find it personally, I find it annoying that they've got all these music videos going on the screens, because to me that's 1980s. Nowadays everyone has their own devices, and they don't want to be competing with the loud, because they're loud. And it doesn't matter what age you are. I don't think they want to be competing with what's going on. They want their own music, and they want to, they want it on their terms. People are no longer. But the screens were in the 80s. They were great. So oh wow, go to the gym and your music's pumping and you're working out. But now, that was when there were Walkmans and it was awkward with a cassette and the whole thing. Now it's different. So I don't think the gyms are onto it. I think they're still. You can still have the screens up there, but let people tune into them, on their own devices. Have a tuner where they can plug into it. So this is we just got to sort of work it out what would work and what would appeal. I think personally, what I feel would work best is not having videos running on screens. I think it'll be better to have slides, informative slides, so that they'll look up at them when they want to, they'll see information when they want to, but it's not blaring at them, sort of pushing a message to them. It's just the slides are there. It could be, good photos from your concerts that you've done. It could be, students in action. It could be, just great quotes. That's to me what I would feel comfortable with. And then if they want to sit on their iPads and not have sort of sound blaring out at them, then they've got that choice as well. So.
Okay.
Um,
that was just mainly one idea that I was thinking about. So yeah, but
Yeah.
there's so much to it, isn't there, that you can go into.
There's so much, everything from the colours to the lighting in your studio to again the smells. There's so many, and it's all about making it comfortable for them. That's my main thing. That's the point I would make. It's about making it comfortable for parents, so they come in there, they're relaxed, they want to sit there. Give them a cup of coffee. Whatever they want, in that respect, that's not going to cost you a fortune, and so that they can relax there for half an hour, to the point where they want to come. That they're looking forward to that half an hour where you take care of their child and they can just sit there and relax for half an hour. The transition that happened in places like hairdressing. That wasn't, hairdressing wasn't always that way as it is today. Now, the way that they work is that they get pampered. So not where I go, I just get my hair cut, but in a lot of the females, I know when my wife goes, it's a real pampering. They go there for a couple of hours and they get cups of coffee and tea and biscuits and sometimes they get head massages and their nails all done and the whole thing. So it becomes a real their time, and I think we're not going to recreate that whole experience. But if within the half an hour that they're in your waiting area, if it could feel as comfortable as possible, that I think is a winner.
Cool.
So let me just go. We can finish up in a minute, but I'll just go to Trevor. Trevor, have you got anything to add to this as far as sensory branding?
Just the advert theme. I guess in a way the people who are in the waiting room, they're not people we really need to sell to because they've already bought into it anyway. So stuff that's kind of maybe a bit more inspirational, like you mentioned about David's showcase, that student showcase thing. Something like that maybe your parents can sit there and think, oh wow, my sons or daughters can be able to get up there and do a song at the end of the year. That would be, stuff like that. And even just, I'm in the same situation as Ben because I don't have an actual site yet. I was still operating from home, but just something like a little Airwick plugin, that kind of makes a nice sort of aroma in the studio. It doesn't have, you mentioned vanilla, but something like that, just that, to try and make the environment, kind of pleasant on a sensory level. You can do like little simple things like that don't really cost hardly anything, but they do make a subliminal difference, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I remember my wife saying, 'cause she had piano lessons as a child, and she didn't learn how to play piano. I think I've told the story before. She went to piano lessons for, I don't know, from the age of about 7 through till about 13 or 14, I think. So a number of years to this old lady, and I said to her, "Why did you go?" And she said she was a nice lady, but what she really liked was the smell of cinnamon. She always had cinnamon tea. That was what the piano lady made. So she became really comfortable, and even to this day, she still likes cinnamon and the smell of cinnamon because she remembers that experience of going to her piano lesson and having the smell of cinnamon. So, yeah, people can make an association as well with a certain smell, and that can create, especially children, they can really create a scent. But also adults have already those sensory smells in place. So when they smell something, it reminds them of something, whether it's relaxing or a past experience or so forth. So, yep, cool. Okay, Ben, anything to add to that? Have we got Ben on the line?
Missed the mic mute button.
Yep, it's a little tricky, that mute button tonight.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I understand how all the things can be relevant. I don't think, as Trevor was saying, it's something I can really get going now. The best I can hope for is that it doesn't smell of wet dog.
Yes, well, yeah, I think that's something that we didn't really talk about, is to be making sure you're eliminating the smells or the sensory, negative sensory experiences. I mean, I think that's the first place to start, is get rid of anything that's offensive in any way that's driving students away.
And then also, I guess, making sure, because it's only happened once, and I mentioned it last time, but if there are little kids running around in the hall outside, that's obviously not going to be a good environment for either the people waiting or the people having a lesson. So if we're minimising negatives, that's another one that springs to mind.
Yep. With just thinking back here with what David's doing, and how this relates back to the E-Myth, and how, in the E-Myth they talk about the smell of pies, and creating that smell within the and even wafting outside a little bit. But the whole thing about the E-Myth, and obviously where they're going with this, is that they really go through everything. So it's what you need to do in your own businesses is keep trying to put yourself, do it once a week. Put yourself in the shoes of a student and walk right outside your business, and then start out as, go and drive around the block if you need to, and then and sort of drive there and go, okay, I'm arriving, how is it for parking? What's the experience walking up from my car to the front door? What's the experience when I get through the door? What are the walls look like? What's the carpet look like? What's the first thing I kind of notice? Is it dark? Is it, are the colours, are they exciting? What is it? So if you can do that, and you can do it on a regular basis, and keep looking for those improvements to where you can add something that will make the experience. And that way, what you're doing is you're getting your student ready for the lesson. So you're actually letting the environment prepare them for the lesson. And I think that'd be, and it'd be good to do from a video sometime. If any of you want to do a video, just go through that whole experience, and we can have a look at it and get a feel for it. Even if you just want to send it to me, I'll happily have a look at it, because it'll only take literally 5 minutes. If it's taking them more than 5 minutes to park and get inside your studio, it's probably a little bit difficult. So if you do a 5-minute video like that, and then I can sort of give you some feedback, or we can look for some ideas as to how to improve that experience.
We've almost got that from David's video a couple of weeks ago, just no parking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. David went through that process when we were looking at his. David, does that make sense for you? Does that, as far as?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what you, and I would imagine your coach has been talking a little bit about that. It's about the whole customer experience, and not just the lesson itself, which is where we mainly focus on, right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the lessons 99% of the time. We're not actually talking about that 5 minutes before the lesson, and even the 5 minutes as they leave, because there's two different perspectives there.
I've actually written my first business plan, which I completed yesterday. And what you do is you put a list of each category, like marketing, like branding, delivery, leadership, and all these different subtitles. And then you kind of get all these priorities, what you think is going to drive your business forward, and then you put them into a priority list. Then you put them into dates, actual, and accountabilities, to get them done. So I've put all that together, and then working on each area of those kind of topics, and that's going to be for the next quarter. So it's like you do like a quarterly business plan, and then like kind of a yearly business plan. So
yeah,
and there's like financial targets and all different things going on. So it's quite good.
excellent, excellent. This is the business, and this is why a lot of guitar teachers, a lot of business people, most business people probably fail to do this, the planning of their business, and that's and it's simply often because it's hard to find the time, right? You know the time it's taking you to put this together, right? It's a fair bit of time. It's not something you do for 5 minutes after dinner.
I'm actually finding now that rather than just teaching, and I'm actually for an hour each day, I'm sitting down working on the business rather than within the business, like writing plans, goals, setting accountabilities and things. So it's changing my mindset to more possibilities, which is great. So it's all good.
You're building a business rather than just working in a business. You're building a business rather than a job. And what most people do is they create themselves a job, and they get to the point where they just don't have enough time or energy or motivation. So they get stuck. So that's great. And if when you sort of get that together, if you want to share it with me, I'd love to have a look at it just to see what you've done.
It's pretty much done, so I can forward that on to you. Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah, excellent. Because I might be able to get some ideas how we can build it in. These, as we develop the FileMaker Pro, then we can sort of put more ideas into these as well, into FileMaker Pro. So you guys have maybe a business plan section built into FileMaker Pro as well, where you can sort of put your plans in there. I'm sort of thinking about that side of it. There's a lot of great ideas we can do with FileMaker Pro. It's just it's unlimited in the possibilities. So I'm taking it one step at a time and working on certain aspects of it now. But I think a business plan built into it is something that we want to look at a bit further down the track as well. So. Okay, cool. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks, guys, and have a great week. And I shall see you same time, same channel next week.
David.
Thank you, David.
Yes.
Yeah.
See you, Dave. Yes, Trevor.
Yeah, just quickly before we go, sorry, I forgot to ask this earlier on.
Yep.
Video editing software, just for putting together like sort of short promotional videos, like for the Facebook ads and whatnot. I've been trying to use iMovie, but it seems to be full of quite a lot of bugs now. Kind of a lot of the Apple stuff seems to have gone downhill since Steve Jobs isn't around. Just wondering, is there something you recommend that's fairly kind of simple, alternative bit of video editing software?
What version of iMovie are you using?
I believe it's the latest one, but I'll check if I've got the latest upgrade on it, but it should be. I've got El Capitan as the operating system, so it should be the latest version of iMovie. Yeah,
cool. I haven't had any problem with iMovie. I generally use iMovie. I guess it depends. I don't use the templates. I just go from blank and then I pull in the different elements that I need, such as the crossovers and putting text on the screen and all that sort of thing. So is there any specific problems you're having with it?
Well, it's with the still images. If you try and drop still images in, like I was trying to put some pictures in of like the gift certificates and things like that, and they just kind of come up as a green screen now for some reason. So I think probably what I'm going to have to do as a workaround is just actually do a video of gift certificate and the book and everything, and just put them in as movie clips. So I guess that's probably going to be the easiest way of doing it. So I'll just stick with that.
Yeah. What I do a lot is I will make it up on Keynote and do a Keynote presentation, and then I'll record that, do a screen recording of Keynote, and as I sort of move through the slides and even put the background narration in, and then I bring that across to iMovie and then I edit it there.
All right. Okay, that sounds good. I'll try that. Okay, that was it. Thanks very much for that.
No worries. All right. Thanks, Trevor. See you.
Okay. Cheers. Bye-bye.
See you, Ben.
See you later.